Hello guys, Lone Vic is back with another review video of a double feature this time, for the first time around, reviewing two games with one video. This is Trekking Through History and Trekking the World. Those are two games from Underdog Games, one for 1 to 4 players. Unlike what is written in the box, 2 to 4, it has a solo component mode, at least when you're got it on Kickstarter like I did. So 1 to 4 players and 2 to 5 players, games from the Trekking series, as you can gather from the titles. And well, in this video I will tell you what I like and I not especially like about those two games. And well, maybe this will help you figure out whether you need them on your shelf or not. If you like the video, if you would like to support what I'm doing here on the channel, you can click the like button under the video. There is a subscribe and notification bell below the video, and in the description for the video you can find a link to buy me a coffee if you would like to do that. And right now let's dive into the positive, into the good elements of both of those games, Trekking Through History and Trekking the World. First things first, those are definitely entry-level games, and as such they fill their role very well. You can definitely play those games with your kids, like 8 or 10 years old or something like that, and I will tell you why it's even more important in a moment. The rules are very, very simple. Now check out the rule book. Now this is the rule book for Trekking Through History, and it's 8 pages long, and some of those pages are mostly pictures. So seriously, and it even has an advanced rule version, like an advanced component in the box that doesn't really change the gameplay a lot, adds a little twist, but it's nothing to get like mind blown about. So like I said, Trekking the World also has like an 8-page rule leaflet. I won't even call it a rule book. So entry-level games with very attractive and very colorful design, with kind of good value when you are pulling them out of the box because of those, let me open that, because of, for example, the tokens that you get in Trekking Through History, for example, those plastic ones, and the overall quality of the components. So definitely if you're looking for a game for beginners and for the whole family to play with 2 to 5 players, that's 5 players at a table, and you can probably sit your family together and play the game, and together with the kids is great. Another thing that's very, very important for me with those games, I will definitely recommend it to play with all the primary school level kids and even older ones, because those are the cards from Trekking the World, and those are the ones from Trekking Through History. In Trekking the World, you are basically visiting different places around the world, different locations as a tourist, and you score points based on visiting and collecting souvenirs. And well, the first thing is that you will find out about lots of different unique places, unique tourist attractions, places around the world, like for example the Cliffs of Moher, the Pyramids of Giza, the Milford Sound, Yellowstone, Colosseum, Halong Bay, Grand Canyon, Acropolis in Athens, Niagara Falls, and many, many others. And you'll learn which continents they're on and where are their geographical locations, more or less, right? So that's beneficial. But the additional factor that I love is that on the other side of every single card, you have a short text fragment that you can read and really find out something about this location. Like, for example, let's take a look at Petra. Petra, the Rose Red City, can only be visited after a trek through the narrow Al Seek Canyon in southern Jordan. As you approach the massive buildings carved into the sandstone cliffs, you'll be confronted with an unexpected wealth of ancient Eastern and Hellenistic architecture. The most renowned structure, the Treasury, almost 40 meters high with an ornate facade in Greek tradition. Explore the archaeological riches left by the impressive civilizations that held the area over 10,000 years. And each of those is like, some geographic facts, some geographically or historically interesting thing. And the same goes for Trekking Through History. With their cards, you not only get a huge set of cards that tell you in which year some historical breakthrough or event happened. Like, for example, study relativity with Albert Einstein in 1905, march with Joan of Arc in 1429, wrestle with Cthulhu in 1280, or save Vietnam with the Trung sisters in year 40, or even 400 BCE, and so forth and so on. So you not only get the dates and the historical events, but on the other side, again, you get a text related to those historic events, so you can read through and educate yourself. So those games have great educational value, in my opinion, and I think this is even more important than the fact that they're good, solid entry-level games for everybody, for the family and for the kids to enjoy. So if you are looking for a game with an educational factor, then those two are definitely going to be it. And I was always happy with the educational factor of, for example, Dog Park or Wingspan, where you have the cards with the birds or with the dogs, and there is like one sentence or two sentences written below an interesting fact that this bird creates nests on higher trees and makes the nests out of this and that. And that's it, right? But here they went over the top with this. You've got a whole paragraph or two of information about, study relativity with Albert Einstein, read through Einstein's straightforward language and algebraic equations to grasp the theory of relativity. The German-born Einstein recognized the effect of gravity and that nothing was faster than light. He wrote about these theories in 1905, and while others doubted him at first, it would forever change our understanding of physics and the universe. Einstein was just 26 at the time. Now, I didn't know that he was 26 at the time when he wrote those theories. Now I do. So definitely, when it comes to the educational factor, keepers, both of them. And I will be interested to read through those cards as I play as well. Now, next, let's not stop there. The next positive is that the trekking through history solo mode is very, very user-friendly, very simple, very quick to play and set up. It's maybe not the most brilliant solo mode you will find out there. It creates a challenge. It has 4 levels of difficulty. It creates a challenge. It's a bit random because of the cards that you draft, but it's still a fun way to spend 30 to 40 minutes of time, especially that you can whip it up pretty quickly. Maybe it's not a box that's travel size, so you can't take it everywhere with you, but still, I'd like to get back to it just for a quick breather. Gameplay-wise, mechanically-wise, both of those games are pretty simple. To be honest, they have a pretty similar premise, the main one, because in each of them you collect some kind of resources, and whether they're based on cards and the iconography on those cards or on plastic tokens, like in Trekking Through History, and based on those resources and based on your location, like in Trekking the World, you can purchase cards which give you points at the end of the game. And those mechanics are, you might say, repetitive, but each of the games has a twist. Trekking Through History has the time rondel, in which whoever is the first player is the one who is the farthest behind on the clock, and you have those sheets on which you mark the collected resources and you score additional points and bonus stuff for those. And in Trekking the World, you have the set collection idea of collecting the most souvenirs from a type or from, many different types in order to score points or be the one who has the most souvenirs of a type and so forth and so on. So there are twists. There's not identical games. They're definitely not copy and paste, just with different themes. So both of them have a merit to be on the shelves, right? Together, and basically that's it. Now, going to the not so good, it depends on everyone's subjective opinion, because some people will say that those games are too simplistic and too random at times when it comes to the drafting, when it comes to the opportunities that you have, and there is not a lot of place to plan ahead. The games have some mitigation mechanics of this randomness. They're maybe not the cleverest ones, but they're there. it's the ancestor cards in Trekking Through History, and it's the journey log, I think. Yeah, journey log it's called in Trekking the World, so you always have something to do. But in each of the games there are some turns in which you're kind of like stifled for, like, okay, I have nothing to do in this turn. Literally nothing. I can just move, or I can just take a card and it gives me nothing. So those moments happen because of the simplicity of the rules and the kind of accessibility of the gameplay, right? They're not the longest ones. It can be a plus, it can be a minus, right? So 45 minutes, an hour tops if you're playing with the maximum number of players. The rule explanation is simple, so I'm not even factoring this in. The other thing is that, you know, the educational factor is there, but if you don't have the habit of turning those cards around and reading through this history, or even like referring to the titles of the cards to know what you're taking, then the flavor of those games is disappearing very quickly, because thematically, tourists going around the world collecting souvenirs, travelers in time visiting different places in history and different events in history, and that's it. So if you're just taking the cards, you're not even reading through what you're taking, and you're just looking at, okay, the date, because I needed the value of points and the resources that I will get from that, then this just mechanically becomes quite repetitive and quite boring very quickly, right? Same for this. So you're not even looking at what is this? You're just like, okay, Cliffs of Moher, where is this? Okay, it's here on the map, so I need to get here, 1, 2, 3 moves, I'm here, I get this, and I get this many points. That's it. So if you're not admiring, if you're not paying attention to what's on those cards, and if you're not like actively seeking the theme in those games, then you won't find a lot. And well, and the last thing probably that I will mention is that the player interaction is very, very limited in both of those games, because everybody is kind of like playing their own set collection. And in Trekking Through History, the end of the game trigger is a bit more fixed than in Trekking the World, because in Trekking the World, the game ends when a player collects this amount of cards, or a player collects this amount of tokens. So the end of the game can be rushed in some ways. In Trekking Through History, not that much, because it ends basically after 3 cycles, from what I believe, and that's where you end the game. So it's more fixed and more predictable. So there are a few things that, you know, speak against those games maybe, especially if you're looking for something a bit more advanced, if you're looking for more of a challenge. But if you're looking for a family-friendly game with easy-to-explain rules that will provide you some fun and will provide you with educational opportunities, and because of the simplicity of the rules and the games and the quickness of explaining, those games are good for young players as well, then those will definitely be a beneficial addition to your shelf, like there are in my case, because I like when games have an educational factor, not only when you have to read through the rulebook and just have some educational excerpts over there, but also when the components are educational themselves. So that's me, and that's Trekking Through History and Trekking the World from Underdog Games. I hope that this video kind of made you more maybe aware that those games exist, or maybe made you decide whether you want them or not, if you were wondering. Any of those being true, if you like the video, if you want to support my channel, what I'm doing here, and you would like to help me out, make the channel grow more and more and more, as this is a completely hobbyist thing that I'm doing after hours out of my own personal interest and love for board games, click the like button, hit the subscribe, and ring the notification bell below the video to be notified about new videos coming to my channel regularly. And if you would like to be so kind, you can also use the link in the description of the video to buy me a cup of coffee and show your appreciation in this way. Either way, thank you for watching the video, thank you for being here with me and Underdog Games trekking series, and I hope you are having a great time in this Christmas break and you're preparing for celebrating the new year very, very soon. And thank you for watching, thank you for sticking with me. Once again, hope you had a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you all. Thanks for being here. Bye bye. See you next time.